All right. Julián Alvarez transfer request. Guys, looks like Arsenal are yet to land their top priority striker target, and that is Julián Alvarez. In this particular story, we're obviously going to be breaking down into what we call a Tony Rüdiger story at Real Madrid, and also we do have a Jamie Vardy update, guys. You need to know what Jamie Vardy is all about. 3 in 1, that's what we're up to in here onto our beautiful channel, and continue to subscribe to this channel so as not miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and continue to see to it that you really turn your notification bells on after subscribing, because you'll miss out on stories that we upload in here on a daily. And you know how we do this, because the summer transfer window is opening on the 15th of June, and we will be here bringing you what you guys deserve in here. Now, let's obviously start it off with team talk. They've obviously gone ahead to give us a hint onto what is happening at the side of Julián Alvarez, and they've told us that Julián Alvarez has told Atleti he wants to leave this summer. Barcelona remain his dream destination, but their financial situation means they can't match Atletico's £100 million asking price. Arsenal and PSG are now ready to make their move, with both clubs willing to pay the full fee. So, this is a very huge boost for the side of Arsenal, and it's a double boost, because if you are to talk about this deal properly and break it down, I tell you, this is what every manager will need, because players coming in from South America always want to play for Barcelona and Real Madrid. And in particular, Julián Alvarez wants to follow in the footsteps of Lionel Messi at Barcelona, right? And as it stands, Barcelona cannot pay the £100 million. That is like 120 million euros, meaning that Atletico want a profit of close to 30-40 million euros from the sale of this guy who goes by names of Julián Alvarez. And for PSG and Arsenal, they can afford the player. That is it. When you look at the revenue of Arsenal, it's 775 without Champions League final money. If they win it, they might head into 800 million pounds money made for winning all those trophies in there for you. So that means they do have the money. PSG also has the money, and they can spend this money to the expectations of Atletico Madrid. But the player needs to make a decision now, and PSG and Arsenal are now ready to make their move. Now, the most important bit of it all, after giving you the first boost that Barcelona is out, the second boost is that the player himself has come up and obviously told Atletico Madrid that I want to leave. I don't want to be here. I want to leave. That is the biggest of all, I tell you. To me, it's the biggest of all that the player's going to hit, obviously tell Atleti that he needs to move. And by the way, it's evident that the moment a club like Arsenal gets into negotiations with a player, the player's agents, obviously that is a clear signal given that the player has given Arsenal, Barcelona and PSG his word that he's leaving Atletico Madrid. And even Atletico Madrid are wanting him, and Atletico Madrid won't obviously come up and obviously block his way to these teams in their face. So it's confirmed. You get? It's confirmed, and obviously it's really going to be happening that way. So we are waiting to see how things really pan out for the club of Atletico Madrid, and which club will convince this guy to obviously come up and obviously become their new player. That is it. But all in all, it really speaks volumes on what exactly the side of Arsenal will do to beat PSG for this player. As I've already told you, first and foremost, these teams are playing one another in the Champions League finale. Come come this weekend, 30th. You understand? So, if come this weekend, 30th, is the day for these teams to face off, then Arsenal needs to obviously beat PSG to send a message to Julián Alvarez that, please, this is where you belong. Even if you go to PSG, you won't be that kind of player. We can make you a Ballon d'Or winner, because I think that's what he's chasing. He knows to it that at the club level, at the country level, he's doing well. But at the club level, he needs to obviously get to those levels of winning the Champions League, right? And winning the Premier League, because he is a very good striker, prolific, and he's a versatile player that can benefit all those clubs. But don't rule out Barcelona. You know, they can really pull out, how do they call it? Is it pull out a cat from the hat? Like to surprise you, right? They might really surprise us and see that they can raise the amount of money to get in this striker, because Lewandowski is living at Barcelona and they need a striker in. I brought you a story that Gabriel Jesus is one of those they are really targeting because they can believe he is a cheaper option in there for you. But Julián Alvarez would have gone ahead to be their priority signing. So we wait and see how things really pan out. But this story comes in after Diego Simeone came out and told us over the weekend that no active talks are taking place for Julián Alvarez's new deal at this stage. And he was asked on his future, and he said he's old enough to know what he wants to do, and imagine he has already made his decision. Barca, PSG and Premier League clubs are still on it. So this is another boss that you have to talk about. There are no talks happening for Julián Alvarez at Atletico Madrid to obviously renew his contract. And that means he is working on his departure and he wants to obviously do the needful. But some people might call him a travel merchant, but to me, I cannot really refer him to that, because he was at Man City and he felt like he doesn't deserve to be there. And he was there for 2 seasons. Went to Atletico Madrid for 2 seasons. If he returns to the Premier League or goes to the French League and or remains in the La Liga, 2 teams in 5 years, to me, that won't be bad for a player who is hungry for something that he feels like the only team that can give it to him is a team that can influence the Ballon d'Or in there for you. So that transfer request obviously has been submitted, and it obviously speaks volumes in here to understand that this player doesn't want to stay at Atletico Madrid. And I don't think that he'll return. He won't. To me, he won't really return, I tell you. He won't return, I tell you. And he's a very, very, very good player. And him being a good player, big teams will obviously be looking out for him. And he's in his mid-20s, still has some 10 years of his career to break records and see to it that he gets to where he deserves to be as a player. So we wait and see how the deal of Julián Alvarez transpires. But indeed, there is no other boss that you'll ever call in for if you are an Arsenal player, an Arsenal fan, or a Julián Alvarez, or a PSG fan, or Barcelona, you know. But for Arsenal, the ball is in your hands, you know, and the ball is in your court. All you have to do, go ahead and beat PSG on Saturday and send a message to him that, please, this is where you're supposed to be. PSG wants to take you. They play in what we call a farmers league, you know, and it's one team that has gone ahead to win the trophy for almost very many seasons. Even if you win that, it won't really speak volumes. But we Arsenal are the emerging force in European football, and you have to come to our side. So Andre Bartha is one of those that I really believe can get this deal done and deliver it to Arsenal, because he is a reputable man and he knows Atletico Madrid very well. So he can talk to the hierarchy very well, and he knows exactly what is happening inside Atletico Madrid on whether they are willing to sell or not. And Atletico Madrid is a player selling team, provided you bring the £100 million. And I think if they are selling him £5 million less than Declan Rice, Premier League proven player, I think they need to get in a world-class striker to obviously compete with a player called who? Victor Gyökeres. Leaving that aside, let's obviously jet to the neighbors of Atletico Madrid, and it's Real Madrid. And Fabrizio Romano has come up and told us that Tony Rüdiger and Real Madrid reach verbal agreement on new contract valid until 2027. Plan to sign soon, also with timing or for official statement to be dictated by election process ongoing. Rüdiger has accepted the Real Madrid proposal. Now, when you hear the name Jose Mourinho, right, coming to Real Madrid, one of the players whose contracts were running down is Anthony Rüdiger. And Anthony Rüdiger has the character of players that Jose Mourinho really wants. And Mourinho wants this player to be there. And they've gone ahead to obviously say, let's extend his contract until 2027. You know, one more year for Anthony Rüdiger, and see to it that they keep this player. Because if you are losing Carvajal, you and Alaba, you wouldn't like to lose another defender. You know, that calls in for you to obviously go ahead and really poach in for very many defenders that you need at your club. But if this goes on well as to plan, you keep Rüdiger, you do have Huijsen, Asensio, Raul, Militao. That really helps you a lot to see to it that you have something to build on as a new manager coming in through. But the elections are really taking place. Riquelme and Florentino Perez, who obviously will be the man in charge of Real Madrid. And we wait to see how things really pan out in there for you. But Real Madrid is in what we call pure fire. And we wait to see what decision will be made in the coming future. But it's a very big deal for Antonio Rüdiger. Obviously, getting such a deal is really very important to start Real Madrid at that age. And we wait. This player was signed on a free transfer from Chelsea by Real Madrid. And that's why even if he leaves on a free, they won't really make any loss. That's why they've gone ahead to give him a 1 more year contract running until 2027. You understand? So, from there, let's obviously head to a Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy, after Leicester was relegated, Jamie Vardy was like, I'm not going to relegation in there for you. And Fabrizio has told us that Jamie Vardy will leave Cremonese as free agent this summer after the relegation. He's ready for a new chapter. So, he was at Leicester, got relegated, brought them back, they got relegated, and this time around was like, I'm not going back with you. He went to Cremonese, and the same thing was going to happen to him. Just got relegated, and he's looking for a new job. And I think teams all over the world will be willing to sign him. But I'm like, why doesn't Jamie Vardy look how to go to USA? Also, Saudi Pro League and obviously make money, because I don't think that he was even earning some huge amount of money at Cremonese, you know? So, we wait and see where he obviously going to be playing next. You can call him the king of relegating teams, if so. Rokani David remains my name. Julián Alvarez transfer request in. What do you make about it? I'm out.